We're going to take a quick review of the first essential skill in geometry, which is area and perimeter. As we look at this, one thing to keep in mind is the different area formulas. These can be found in your area toolkit, but they are here for you to review as well. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Both the area of a rectangle and the area of a parallelogram are base times height. And the area of a trapezoid, is base 1 plus base 2 times the height, and then that divided by 2. All right, let's look at this first shape. Because I can tell that these sides have the same slope from the grid, I know that this is a parallelogram. So in order to find the area, I need to do base times height. So I can just count the base here, and I see that it is 6 units long. And then I count the height here that is perpendicular to the base, and I see that that is 4. So I'm going to take 6 times 4, giving me an area of 24 square units. Next up, I need to find the perimeter. In order to find the perimeter, I'm going to add up all the outer edges. Well, it starts off easy enough with 6 plus 6, but then I need to do some work to find these edges here. I do have a right triangle there. And if I take a closer look at that bottom chunk, I see that I can use the Pythagorean theorem here to find my unknown length c. So I count, that's 1 and 4, so I can set up 1 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. Gives me 1 plus 16, so c squared is 17, leaving me with c is approximately 4.12. If I go back up to my original image, I can see that because this is a parallelogram, these are the same. So I'm going to take my perimeter, I'm going to go 6 plus 6 plus 4.12 plus 4.12, giving me a total of 20.24 units for my perimeter of that parallelogram. Okay, this one looks a little different, but we did some of these in the earlier units. In this case, it gives me a triangle, and it tells me the perimeter is 44 and wants me to solve for x. I know the perimeter comes from adding these 3 sides together, so I'm going to write the equation 6x plus 6x plus 3 plus 5x plus 7 equals 44. And then I'm going to solve that equation. I put like terms together, the x's, my numbers. When I finish solving, I get x equal to 2. Now, in order to check that, I can go back to my original problem and plug in and find the side. So if x was 2, this is 6 times 2, or this side would be 12 centimeters. This side would be 5 times 2 plus 7, so that's 17 centimeters. And then this would be 6 times 2 plus 3, which would be 15 centimeters. And when I check 12 plus 17 plus 15, that equals my original perimeter of 44 centimeters. Last one is looking at a trapezoid. We've done a number of trapezoids. For this one, we're going to find both the area and the perimeter. The area of a trapezoid is given by adding the 2 bases, multiplying by the height, and dividing by 2. So I can count this bottom base as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The top is 8. The height I can see is 3. I'm going to draw that here. And then I'm going to divide that by 2. So that gives me 13 times 3 divided by 2, or 39 over 2. Which gives me 19.5 units squared. So we're going to keep that work there, and then we're going to move on to find the perimeter. In this trapezoid, I can see that the left and the right are different. This is not an isosceles trapezoid. So I know I'm going to have to add the bottom and the top. And then I need to add, I'm going to call this one X and this one Y. But first, I need to figure out what those are. I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem to do that. And looking at X, I can see that that is 2 and 3 for the bases of that triangle. I'm going to do 2 squared plus 3 squared equals X squared, which gives me 13. And then when I take the square root of both sides, I get approximately 3.61 for X. So that's going to be one of my other numbers. I have one left to do to find Y over here. Again, I can see that that triangle is 3 by 1. So I'm going to do 3 squared plus 1 squared equals Y squared. So that gives me 10 equals Y squared, and when I square root that, that is approximately 3.16. So I'm going to take that and put that in as my other side here. And then when I combine those, I get a perimeter of 19 and 77/100 units.